Ever wondered how to determine the gender of a newborn kitten? Well, you're not alone. This is a common question that not only satisfies our curiosity, but also carries a certain level of importance. Whether you're planning on naming your new furry friend, or considering future spaying or neutering, knowing the gender of your kitten is crucial. In this video, we're going to walk you through the process of determining a kitten's gender, which is not as straightforward as you might think. We'll start with understanding the basics of kitten anatomy, then we'll guide you on when and how to check. We'll also provide tips on what to look for and how to confirm your observations. Remember, this process requires patience and a gentle touch. It's about being respectful and considerate to these tiny creatures. So buckle up and get ready for an enlightening journey. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of how to determine the gender of a newborn kitten. Before we dive into the steps, it's important to understand a few basic facts about kittens. Kittens, these adorable bundles of fur, aren't just mini versions of adult cats. They undergo a fascinating journey of growth and development, and the early weeks are particularly crucial. Let's talk about some of these basics. Kittens are born with their eyes and ears closed, completely dependent on their mother for survival. By the end of the first week, their ears start to unfold, and by the second week, their eyes begin to open. It's during these initial weeks that they start to show gender features. However, distinguishing between male and female kittens isn't always easy, particularly when they are very young. In fact, many professionals suggest waiting until the kittens are at least 3 weeks old before attempting to determine their gender. At this age, their genital features become more pronounced, making it easier to tell the boys from the girls. However, it's important to remember that even at 3 weeks, the differences can be subtle and easily misinterpreted. While understanding these facts, it's equally important to stress the need for gentle handling. Kittens are fragile creatures, especially newborn ones. Their bones are still developing, and they can easily be injured by rough handling. Therefore, whenever you're interacting with a kitten, be it for gender determination or just cuddling, always ensure you're doing so with utmost care and gentleness. Remember, your goal should always be to cause the least amount of stress possible to the kitten. If at any point you feel unsure or uncomfortable, it's best to consult with a professional or a veterinarian. They have the knowledge and experience to handle these delicate situations with the care they require. Now that we have an understanding of the basics, we can start with our step-by-step process. So sit tight and let's embark on this fascinating journey of understanding our tiny furry friends a little better. Step 1. Wait for the right time. You might be excited to find out whether your new little bundle of fur is a boy or a girl, but it's important to remember that patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to determining the gender of a newborn kitten. You see, kittens, much like many other creatures in the animal kingdom, don't have immediately visible gender-specific features at birth. It's as if nature herself has shrouded their identities in a small, adorable mystery. This means that trying to tell whether a kitten is male or female right after they're born is, quite frankly, a guessing game at best. Instead, it's generally recommended to wait for at least a few weeks before trying to determine a kitten's gender. Now you might be wondering, why wait? Well, as kittens grow, their gender-specific features become more prominent, making it easier to accurately identify whether they're male or female. Think of it like a flower bud. When it first appears, it's almost impossible to tell what kind of flower it will bloom into. But give it some time, some sun, some water, and before you know it, you'll have a beautiful, fully bloomed flower, its identity revealed for all to see. The same principle applies to kittens. Give them some time to grow and develop, and their gender will become apparent. Now, it's important to note that this waiting period isn't just about accuracy. It's also about the kitten's safety and comfort. Imagine being just a few days old, still getting used to the world around you, and then being picked up and examined. It can be stressful, to say the least. By waiting a few weeks, you're giving the kitten time to adjust to their new environment and become more comfortable with human interaction. So to summarize, while the excitement of finding out your kitten's gender might make you eager to know right away, it's crucial to remember that good things come to those who wait. Patience is key here. It's best to wait until the kitten is a few weeks old before trying to determine its gender. Step 2 involves preparing to check. We've all heard the saying, preparation is key, and it couldn't be truer in this instance. Before we can determine if your newborn kitten is a little prince or princess, we need to ensure a few things first. The first order of business is making sure the kitten is comfortable and relaxed. Remember, these little fur balls are just starting to navigate the world and everything is new to them. So it's crucial to approach this process gently and calmly. If the kitten seems stressed or anxious, it might be best to postpone the check until they are more at ease. It's also essential to ensure that you're comfortable too. You might want to sit down, perhaps on a soft carpet or a comfortable chair, with the kitten on your lap. This way, you can easily handle the kitten without causing any discomfort to yourself or the little one. Next, you'll want to make sure the area is well lit. Good lighting is crucial to accurately determine your kitten's gender. You don't need a spotlight or anything too bright that might startle the kitten. Natural daylight is best, but if that's not possible, a regular room light will do just fine. You should also have some soft towels or cloth at hand. These will come in handy for gently holding the kitten and for cleaning up afterward. And don't forget to wash your hands before and after the check. This keeps the process hygienic and safe for both you and the kitten. Finally, remember that patience is your best friend in this process. It might take a little time for the kitten to get comfortable or for you to get a clear view, but that's okay. Rushing will only stress out the kitten and make the process more difficult. So take a deep breath, relax, and remember, you're doing this out of love for your new furry family member. With careful preparation, you're ready to check the kitten's gender. Step 3, the moment of truth, checking the genital area. Now we are at the stage where we will check the kitten's genital area. This is a delicate process, and it's important to approach it with utmost gentleness and respect for the little one. Remember, kittens are extremely fragile, and we want to ensure that we're not causing any discomfort or harm. To start, position yourself in a way that you can clearly see the kitten's rear end. Gently, ever so gently, lift the kitten's tail. Now, what you're looking for are two openings, the anus and the genital opening. The anus is the one closest to the tail, while the genital opening is a bit further down. The key differences between male and female kittens lie in the shape and distance between these two openings. In male kittens, the genital opening, which is the penis, is a small circular hole, and it's slightly farther from the anus compared to females. It might also have a tiny bump, which would be the testes, but these are not always visible in very young kittens. On the other hand, in female kittens, the genital opening, which is the vulva, is a vertical slit, and it's very close to the anus. The two openings in females are closer together and might even appear to be touching. If you're having trouble distinguishing, don't worry. It can be tricky, especially if the kitten is very young. You might want to wait a few more weeks and try again, or consult with a veterinarian. Remember, the goal here isn't just to determine the gender of your kitten, but to do so in a way that respects their comfort and well-being. So don't rush, be patient, and handle with care. Remember, this process requires a gentle touch and careful observation. Step 4 is all about confirming your observations. Once you've taken a look at the kitten's genital area, it's time to cross-check your observations. This will help ensure that you've correctly identified the kitten's gender. The last thing we want is to name our little furball Lucy, only to find out months later that Lucy is actually a Lucius. One way to confirm your findings is by looking for other gender-specific characteristics. For instance, male kittens typically have a more rounded, fuller face, while females have a more delicate, pointed face. However, bear in mind that these traits may not be apparent until the kitten is a bit older. Another feature to check is the color of the kitten's coat. Calico and tortoiseshell kittens, those with a mix of orange, black, and white fur, are almost always females. This is due to the genetics of coat color, which are linked to the X chromosome. However, there are exceptions, and these colors can occasionally be seen in male cats, though this is extremely rare. Next, look at the kitten's behavior. While this is not a foolproof method, it can still give you some hints. Male kittens, or toms, tend to be more dominant and assertive, while females or queens are often more reserved and gentle. If after all this you're still unsure about the kitten's gender, it's best to consult with a vet. A vet will be able to definitively confirm the gender, usually by the age of 8 weeks. This is also a good time to start thinking about spaying or neutering, as this can prevent unwanted behaviors and health issues down the line. Remember, determining a kitten's gender is not always straightforward. It requires a bit of patience, observation, and sometimes a second opinion. But don't worry, with practice, you'll be able to tell the difference in no time. Confirmation is crucial to ensure you've correctly identified the kitten's gender. So, you've made it through the steps. But let's quickly recap what we've learned. In the grand scheme of things, determining the gender of a newborn kitten may seem like a small task, but it's one that requires both patience and precision. It's not an instant revelation, but rather a discovery that unfolds over time. Our first step emphasized this aspect, waiting for the right time. It's crucial not to rush this process, as newborn kittens are delicate creatures. Preparation, our second step, is equally important. Ensuring you're in a calm, quiet environment with clean hands can make all the difference in keeping both you and the kitten at ease. It's not just about the physical environment, though. It's also about mentally preparing yourself to be gentle and observant. This brings us to our third step, checking the genital area. This is where your keen observation skills come into play. You have to look for the subtle differences that distinguish a male from a female kitten. This isn't an exam where you're racing against time. Take your time, be patient. Finally, we discussed the importance of confirming your observations. This is the step that wraps everything up. It's essential to cross-check your findings, perhaps even a few times, to ensure accuracy. After all, it's better to be sure than sorry. With these 4 steps, you've got a guide that can help you confidently and accurately determine the gender of a newborn kitten. But remember, even with the best guides, there can still be room for doubt. This is why, if you're ever unsure, it's best to consult a professional. They have the experience and expertise to help you with this task. In the end, it's all about ensuring the well-being of the little furball, and knowing their gender is just one piece of the puzzle in understanding and caring for them better. With these steps, you can confidently determine the gender of a newborn kitten. Remember, when in doubt, consult a professional.